All right, attempt number 2. Only 4 minutes late.
Yeah.
Today on the show, folks, we have coronavirus. Is it enough to scare away the nerds? The latest of the 5G news. And we'll take a look at the new Batmobile. So, all this and more this week in Geek. All right, guys, welcome to the Grizzled Geek, the world famous Grizzled Geek podcast. I'm your host, Mike.
I'm done.
And we're here, kind of off center, looks like, from our camera got bumped.
Yeah, that's all right. Lean over.
Scoot in this way. All right, here we have it. You get a nice view of our wall over there.
Yeah.
For no reason. All right, folks. We are the Grizzled Geek podcast. This is your daddy's podcast for the old school nerds. Coming at you with your weekend geek, all the nerd news.
Oh,
There we go.
Fix it.
Look at
There
that.
you go. Stop.
Boom. Editing on the fly.
Yeah.
It's like we almost know what we're doing.
Almost.
It's like technical issues every week, and new ones even. You know, so it's not like it's the same old technical issues.
Right.
Which I guess is signs of improvement. We're not, screwing up the same things over and over again.
Yeah.
Right? So that's good news. All right, guys, we're back live. There's been kind of a crazy week here. Doug, you're going out of town this weekend.
Yeah.
Where are you going?
To Knott's Berry Farm
Knott's Berry Farm.
for a few hours.
For a few
That's
six hours out, ride a roller coaster, then
Yeah.
eat some
6
chicken
hours.
and come back.
Something like that. Yeah.
Nice. All right, fair enough.
Yeah. Just a chance for their wife and I to get out of town for a little while.
That's important.
Yeah.
That is important, getting out of town. But you got to be careful while you're traveling out there.
Yeah.
Apparently the plague is affecting everybody. There was actually a coronavirus. Someone in a Scottsdale nightclub got tested positive for it. So
Is that the ASU student or somebody different?
or somebody different.
Oh,
So
interesting.
you got multiple, and then there was like a fire department got quarantined because they were exposed to helping somebody who was.
Was that here or in Washington?
That was in. I think that was in Washington.
Yeah, that was the people who responded to that that nursing home.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's running through that nursing home. And here's the thing: yeah, be cautious, follow all the CDC guidelines. Wash your hands, don't touch your face, all that kind of stuff. But if you're a healthy adult, you're probably all right. If
Right.
you've got a compromised immune system or you're old, then exercise some caution.
I have a compromised immune system, but I'm fairly healthy. And as far as I get over sicknesses pretty quickly. In fact, I don't get sick as often as a lot of my family does. So it's kind of one of those weird things.
Yeah.
However, just so you know, your antibacterial soap and your hand sanitizer is not a bacteria. It's not a bacteria. It's a virus. So make sure you wash your hands still. You don't get on your mouth. But just so you know, all you guys are eating up because we're trying to buy soap and there's like antibacterial soap is like gone.
Oh right. Yeah.
And I'm like, it's not bacteria. But we're not the only ones that's being affected by this. Apparently, coronavirus is affecting us geeks as well. Our geek life is being affected by the coronavirus. So whether you're scared of it or not, whether you're traveling or not, it's going to affect you in some way or another. And so we're going to break it down here for you. How is the coronavirus going to affect people? Well, looking at attendance at conventions is going to be affected. So we're coming into convention season here.
Right.
At the height of the scare.
Yeah, the first I saw of it was a tweet from Barbara Dunkelman that was like she was not going to the Emerald City Comic Con.
Yeah.
She had been announced as being there or something like that.
Well, no one's going to the Emerald
Now
Comic Con.
now they're apparently just the whole thing is on hold.
Yeah. So they're worried about convention attendance, and not just. I mean, well, here's the thing. You pay a lot of money for Comic Con. Those nerds are going to Comic Con. As long as it's being held, they're going.
Yeah.
But what could be affected is the guests, the attendance. A lot of them don't want to do autographs or meet and greets.
Oh yeah.
So a lot of the people you're going to see or the conventions are probably not going to be there. Well, some of them are bowing out.
Yeah.
And some of the conventions are being put off. Like you mentioned, Emerald City Comic Con has been put off till summer. At some point in undetermined date, the Minecraft Festival in Orlando was canceled, so it doesn't have a date that it's coming back yet. So there's a whole bunch.
There's a Minecraft festival.
Oh, it's huge. I hear it's huge.
I don't understand.
I'm all. Yeah, we outgrew those 8-bit games.
Yeah.
We're kids. But yeah, but they're not. There's the first two, right? There's.
Yeah.
I have a feeling there's going to be more coming up.
Possibly.
We got Arizona Fan Fusion coming up in a month or so. 2 months, month and a half.
No, I think it's in April. Oh no, it's May.
We have a gaming convention in 2 weeks.
Yeah. So far, I mean, they sent out a notice saying, hey, we're keeping an eye on it, and we'll let you know. But for now, everything's going forward.
Right.
As
we're going, but we're going to be keeping an eye out for people coughing.
Yeah. Well, and they did the like wash your hands, don't shake hands with your opponents, do a fist bump or bow or something like that.
I ain't bowing my opponent. You can bow to me.
So yeah, stuff like that.
Fair enough. Disney, the one thing that's really affected me because I was waiting for all these announcements they were planning is the Disney Plus London launch event was canceled. It was supposed to be last night, and they were supposed to release the official slate for a bunch of news for upcoming Marvel and Star Wars Disney Plus shows, and that got canceled. So who knows when they're going to get that information?
How it's going to come out.
Yeah. So that's a pain. Another big thing we just reported last week about the influx of Baby Yoda merch, but you might want to pump your brakes on that because apparently there's going to be a shortage and delay of a lot of Baby Yoda merch due to most of it being made in China. So.
Yeah, true. You're going to want to wait a while.
Right, little virus-infected toys. I mean, I want to hug a Baby Yoda, but not enough to get coronavirus. So, yeah, so you have that, the delay, and, I don't know, there's a lot of it. But another thing you don't really think about is movie delays. So I'm not going to conventions, I'm not going, doing all this stuff, but you go to movies, and there's a lot of them being delayed. The big one right now is the James Bond one, the No Time to Die, was pushed back 7 months. So, and they're estimated to lose like $50 million or something like that from pushing the date back. And it was like, yeah, it was crazy just from the release date. And that's because, well, it's a big, nowadays the foreign market is a major part of release. Right. I mean, that's figured into the budgets of these films. And, they can't have, so they can't have this Asian release date. China's a big part of the market nowadays. Mm-hmm. So they pushed that back 7 months. Now, there is rumors that Marvel is eyeing at pushing back Black Widow to the Eternals date, which is November 6th, and then pushing the Eternals till first part of next year. Okay. However, that's nothing official from Disney about that yet.
Right. Okay.
And I really doubt they'll push it back just because, I mean, if we look at it, Black Widow is probably not a major target for the Asian market, maybe. I don't know. Not as big as like Endgame or something like that, but
true, yeah.
And Disney usually doesn't, well, they did cancel their London special, so who knows? It could happen, I guess. But there's not been any official word on them pushing back Black Widow or Eternals, so hopefully we'll get a delay. Man, if this virus affects things, we not only got to stay home, but we won't have any movies to watch either.
Yeah, and here's the big thing is these are probably delays due to release dates, not production.
Right. Black Widow's done.
Yeah, we haven't heard anything like they're pushing back the production on The Mandalorian or anything along those lines. So,
the movies
they're
are all
worried about people attending the movie because you don't want a depressed movie market because people are afraid to go to the movies to then have a flagging launch weekend.
Right.
Where it's like, well, we only made $20 million this weekend because nobody wants to go to the movies.
Right.
So
here's the thing: what are they hoping it's better controlled in 7 months? Is that the hope?
Yeah, they're hoping that summer will the heat of summer will depress the virus and that activities that governments are taking in order to control the spread of the virus will have some effect by that point in time.
Right. So how severe China gets with their.
Although I saw an article today that all of the press that China's been putting out about fewer and fewer cases is all just BS. That's just a cover. That it's not getting better. That they're just suppressing.
China's like fewer and fewer cases and brand new landfill. I'm like, yeah, we don't know how China's going to handle this, but yeah, in Arizona here, I can guarantee you that the summer will take care of it because one, nothing will live through that heat. Two, no one's going to leave their house in the summertime too, so we stay indoors. So no chance for that to let it burn through. All right, yeah. So yeah, there you have it. Possible convention delays, delay of Baby Yoda merchandise, and probably other stuff. That's the important. That's the important part. But probably a lot of other merchandise is being delayed too. I know there was several things about Kickstarters being affected with productions in China.
Oh yeah.
So if you back Kickstarter and they're producing it in China, there might be a delay on that.
Right. Yeah.
And then the movie delays. So coronavirus is hitting us nerds.
Yeah. And something to keep in mind is, though we were just talking about Comic-Con, it's in San Diego, which is one of the, I don't want to say hot spots because most of California's cases are in the San Francisco area, but San Diego was one of the places that they first spotted cases.
Yeah.
So if that continues to grow there, they might, might have to delay or cancel it.
Like I said, nerds who finally got tickets are probably going to still go, right? But
well, here's the thing: is will the city force them and say,
that's
nope,
true?
You
unless
can't do it.
Unless the city stops it,
yeah,
they're going to show up for Comic-Con. The question is whether or not guests will be there. So
yeah.
And if they are they going to shake your hand? No.
Yeah.
Sign your autograph? Maybe. You're like, oh yeah, that guy in the hazmat suit. That's that star of this movie. Look through the eye window and you can tell it's him.
Yeah.
Get your picture taken with him. All right. Want to bring us up to date on our story from last week?
Let's talk about the 5G debacle.
5G debacle. The end of DC Comics as we know it.
Yeah, possibly. It's all right. So we reported last week that they had this brand new initiative, the 5G, where AT&T said, "Oh, you need to appeal to the younger generation. You need to kind of update all your
younger and more diverse."
Yeah. So there was a big fracas with Dan Didio. I think it's
Didio.
Yeah. He got fired because of a poor work environment.
Yeah.
I think. But now there's been more backlash to the 5G plans, and rumors are starting to abound that they might be dropping it altogether or drastically scaling it back.
Yeah. Which is more likely because of the work that's already been done on it.
Yeah. There's because these things you work on a month ahead. So if it was, slated for an October release, right?
Right, but it was kind of teased at Doomsday Clock.
Yeah.
Right.
So
at the end of that, and then there's the Free Comic Book Day this May is supposed to be the first kickoff introduction.
Right, yeah. So the idea is, or what we're hearing is that they're just going to reduce the original scope to a smaller line of books, and then condensing the 5 generations to, well, maybe we're only going to look at 2 or 3 of those. So we'll see what happens.
So you think it's going to be, because originally the question was,
idea.
The first idea was going to be like more of like a Ultimate Universe type thing, right? So here's a new, have it alongside the original, but then Dan Didio and some of the other ones, editors wanted, and with this big push for youth and diversity, it's just to switch it all up, right? Bring everything back. The whole thing was going to bring back all the continuity. Mm-hmm. So it was all going to, everything matters is the tagline, right? Everything matters. And then have this new launch, and this would be the new one. So it's going to be fundamentally affecting everything. But now they're talking about, I don't know what exactly they're talking about here, but they're talking about scaling it back and not having it affect.
Yeah, here's the
entire relaunch. I don't know what it looks like now.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it was originally supposed to, because we just got a general idea of kind of corporate speak about what it was supposed to be. And there was all these different generations, but they're like, oh, generation 1 is Wonder Woman in World War I, and generation 2 is Superman in World War II, and blah blah blah. Does that mean you're going to have books that are set in all of these generations, and then just one of the generations is going to have these new diverse characters taking up the mantles of these people, or is everything switching to these, and those were generations of the past? It was just really...
I think initially, because I read into it a little bit here, just trying to, because I was like you, I didn't know what this meant, what any of this meant. I don't know what any of this means. And what it looks like is that they're planning on having all that stuff that happened in their respective timelines that they could go back to, as far as like graphic novels or whatever, if they want to go back and tell a story about that in this timeline, they do that, but all current titles will be taken over by the new, so all the Batman books will be Lucius Fox's, Luke Fox, is that his name?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
I've not read a DC comic for a long time. I can't remember the last.
Here's how horrible this sounds, right? And because I've been diving into this, and we don't know exactly what's going to happen, but here's what some of the things that they wanted to do as far as diversity and everything else goes. So we know, Batman was going to be black. It's going to be Lucius Fox's son. I think it's Luke Fox, who has a cool armored suit in the comics now. That he looks cool. Like if they want to do his own comic book, that'd be fine, keep him in the suit. But they wanted to make him Batman and go back to like the original design of Batman with the red suit and the the masquerade mask, basically like a Robin. Yeah, awful looking. Like, why would he get rid of his armor and just like run out in like a red billowy shirt, and like a a mask on? It looks dumb. Wonder Woman was going to be, and there was 2 rumors. Now I don't know if either one of these are true, or which one they're going to go with, what they're talking about doing. But it was not going to be Diana. It's not going to be Donna, right? It's going to be a new Wonder Woman, and as part of that diversity, one way they were talking about going is making her a thick girl, right? Kind of a squirrel girl, kind of a chubby Wonder Woman, or the other one, which is the most extreme, and like I would love just for them to do this just for the backlash, was to make Wonder Woman a transgender woman. So yeah, and I'm like, well, that is diverse. I don't know. But this is some of the things. This is where their mindset was going, right? Yeah. They're also talking about affecting some of the characters that they're not getting rid of, like Dick Grayson. We're talking about having him come out as gay, which is odd because throughout his history in comics, he's had his relationship with Starfire, his relationship with Batgirl, right? You know what I mean? It just seems weird that character.
They were all doomed because he was in the closet. I'm just like,
I don't understand. Yeah, the death of DC Comics as we know it. I mean. And here's the thing: if you want these kind of diverse characters in that's fine. I think in fact, like Luke Fox's, that's the name. I might be mixing it up, but Lucius Fox's kid. If they wanted to have him in his own issue, that's fine. He's a cool character. But why? I don't know why you go around and start changing up all these other characters, right? Yeah. I just don't understand. So.
Get rid of all of the marketable characters you currently have. Yeah. Slap their names on somebody else to hopefully keep people invested in the books. Yeah. And I mean. That's happened before to mixed reception. Yeah. Some people, you have an awesome writer whoever did the Thor with Jane Foster. Yeah. It was a cool story.
That was a good story, yeah.
And it's just, kind of upsetting that you didn't give her a different name because you had to kind of coax. No, Thor is whoever's wielding the hammer. That's their name. It's not.
It's a title now.
It's a title. Yeah. Versus, okay, so why was it Ray Bill Thor?
With the all new Marvel, or this is Marvel Now, or whatever it is, it was. There were a lot of mixed results, right? I mean, and it ended up failing in the long run because they had to bring back the original characters, right? Because that's what people wanted. However, some great characters came out of that. Like Kamala Khan came out of that. Spider-Gwen, was that Spider-Gwen come out of that, or was that like that was later?
No, I think
that was later. But yeah, but like Kamala Khan came out of that. We got there was some.
Was Marvel Now when the New Avengers came out?
Yeah, it was when they switched. It was when Riri Williams was the first one to take over Ironheart.
Oh yeah.
I wasn't a big fan of her, but like I said, there were some characters that came out of that were actually most of the women characters that came out of it were fine. So, like Jane Foster's Thor storyline was awesome. So I mean, it was just one of those weird things I don't understand. But they had to bring back the main characters because here's the thing: the people that are buying these comics, and another big thing with this 5G thing was they're talking about raising the price of the comics.
Oh, I know.
Right, $8 to $10 Imagine $10 an issue for a comic.
Nope. Can't.
Like,
I can't. I can't imagine it.
Man.
And again, you're trying because these changes, unless you've got a stellar writing staff that people are just dedicated to those writers and will follow them to whatever they do, you're looking for an entirely new audience because you're going to burn bridges with your old audience.
Right.
Who's going to go, this isn't my character. I've invested, like you're like us, and you're going, I've invested 25 years reading these characters, and now you're just scrapping them all to give me these, to put in substitutes.
And all these ancillary characters, which are cool or partially cool because they're ties back to this main character, right? And if you want a legacy character, Batman, you have one in Terry McGinnis already, right? Batman Beyond. If you want to have like a future Batman version of Batman who's diverse, non-white Batman, you have it already.
Yeah.
I mean, why are you trying to reinvent the wheel here when you actually have cool characters, diverse cool characters?
Yeah.
Why not showcase them instead of creating new ones?
Here's the thing: is people feel, in my opinion, that they've tried things like Steel, or I don't know what all DC has done, right? I want to say Jon Stewart, but a lot of people like Jon Stewart.
Jon Stewart's the leader of the Justice League right now.
Yeah, so I mean, you've got. I guess they just want to expand the cast, and they don't.
But he's not going to be Green Lantern anymore. With this 5G thing, they're taking the power away from him. He just got to be the leader of the Justice League. And he's a cool character.
And that's the weird thing.
He just got to this point where you got some cool characters. He's now the tenured, the elder statesman on the Justice League, and now you're like, oh, we're gonna take boot him to the side and some new Green Lantern.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm like,
I don't know.
Yeah,
they think they need to slap these names on them because they, generally speaking, when you've come up with this new character, and here's the problem is, they come up with a new character to have a diverse character, not a new character to have a cool new character.
Yeah.
And then nobody buys it, so then they go, well, we got to slap a new name, slap a good old name on it to get people to be interested in and buy that book.
Right. When diversity comes because for the sake of diversity and not the story, that's when you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
That's pandering, right?
Right.
I mean, and that's just we'll see. I'm so curious now. It's like it's like we're watching a train wreck, slow motion train wreck here. What's going to happen with DC?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, they're going to wreck the train after 85 years.
Yeah.
I'm like, All right, guys. We'll keep you updated as we learn more and we get closer. We'll check out the new Comic Book Day issue and see if they still launch that and see how it goes.
Right.
All right, we're moving on to our behind-the-scenes update. There's been a ton of behind-the-scene images that have come out recently, and so we're going to break them down for you and show you what we have here. We have a couple from The Batman. Matt Reeves has showed us images of the new Batmobile. We saw the new Batsuit, right? Well, movie.
Some trailers.
Yeah, that's what it's going to take at this point.
Yeah.
I want to see a cool trailer.
I mean, it's Batman. I'll see it, but I'm not excited for it at this point. I need more.
James made me watch that indie film, The Lighthouse, with Pattinson and Defoe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird movie, but you can totally tell he's got good acting chops, right? He's been, that's what he does, is mostly indie stuff, right? He's a really good actor. I mean, can he pull out Batman? Probably. Well, I mean, he's probably my least worried part about this whole thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm hoping the penguin doesn't look like those behind the scenes pictures we saw the penguin. Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
But they have some behind the scenes. I'm sure more and more is going to come now as production gets underway with the Batman.
Yep.
But we see some Loki behind the scenes pictures have resurfaced here, where we get. I mean, we don't have these. Sorry to show you, but where we get a look at the Time Variance Authority in the costumes, right? And they have like they're not as bright red as in the comics, right? But you see like red pants, and they're in the rain, so they're kind of wearing coats. But yeah, Time Variance Authority, including is it Owen Wilson? Owen Wilson's character.
Who's he playing?
He's playing one of the Time Variance Authority.
Oh,
guys.
okay.
But and we also see in some of these back pictures of Sophia Di Martino, who was cast mysterious role. Everyone's wondering what she's playing, but she's wearing kind of like this gold necklace thing, kind of like Loki wore. A lot of the everyone's thinking that she's Lady Loki, right? At some point, he gets turned into
a woman like he did in the Straczynski run.
Yeah.
Well, he's done it a couple of times.
Right. Yeah. So, but yeah, so we're gonna kind of look at her and we're like, but she's also it's in the rain. She's wearing a coat over her costume, so you only get a kind of brief glimpse of it. But you're like, okay, yeah, she could be.
That'd be cool.
So yeah, that's really cool. And then we get some behind the scenes scene of Falcon and Winter Soldier, and this was a robbery or some kind of heist. There's two armored cars, and it's like a video image from far away. This is the one that's really interesting because it's showing basically the new Captain America trying to stop this heist or whatever it is, and then Winter Soldier having to come in and like I don't know save him or help him or whatever is going to happen, right? But and it's from far away.
It's the U.S. agent.
It's the U.S. agent, Captain America, right? Okay. Yes, definitely. He's wearing the full-on Captain America. Okay. The shield and the whole bit. But they stop a group of masked women who get out of this, and they're kind of done up. It's from a distance, but they got like bright-colored hair. They're wearing masks, so we're not sure exactly. Okay. But one of the theories is that the group of female, it's the Grapplers from the comics, which is a group of female wrestlers who Justin Hammer, the power broker, gave them their powers. Consequently, in the comics, he also gave John Walker, the U.S. agent, his powers as well in the comics, right? So there's kind of a connection there. Right. And interesting part about this is one of them is Screaming Mimi, is one of the Grapplers, who later becomes Songbird on the Thunderbolts. Yeah. Right. So she becomes a major character in the Marvel.
So this show has got two of the people who will eventually be
Thunderbolts. Yeah. I mean, Baron Zemo, obviously leader of the Thunderbolts. Yeah. And then, if rumors are true, he's actually helping the good guys in this, right? Oh, okay. Right. Well, the rumor is the scene breakdown is in Madripoor. They go to Madripoor to meet with him, with Baron Zemo, right? Okay. Bucky and Falcon. Right. And he's with Omega Red. That's where the big rumor about Omega Red being in there. Also, the rumor is in that Madripoor scene, you got to take a look, pay close attention because apparently there's going to be a lot of silhouettes in the background. That if you're a big long-term X-Men or Mutant fan, you might recognize some people in the background. So, okay. But anyway, there's a little teases. Just the fact that they're in Madripoor is awesome. But yeah, so who knows? Maybe they might be building up the Thunderbolts, which would make sense with those,
Although this also would tend to suggest that the Thunderbolts might be a TV thing versus an in the movies thing.
And I think that would work better. Yeah, as a Disney Plus series as opposed to a movie.
Yeah, because you can play more into they're playing like they're good guys, and then eventually going, well, you know what? I like doing this good guy stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So
that's cool.
I'm super excited to see, Thunderbolts if they exist. But again, this was a video from the top of a building, shooting down the street really far away, and even when you zoom in close, you really didn't get a whole look. But they were pretty colorful females with masks on. Yeah. So and there's 4 females, so that could be cool. Grapplers make sense, and the connection with Power Broker, and John Walker makes sense. But so there you have it, folks. A whole slew of behind-the-scene images released this week, and so go check them out. They're all online. You can check them out there.
All right, our last big story is some debunked rumors and corrections on some announcements.
Yeah. So the story sometimes we get things wrong.
Well,
sometimes we report about other people getting stuff wrong.
Right. Yeah. So first off, James Mangold has debunked rumors that he filmed any Mandalorian season 2 episodes. That was originally reported by IGN, but apparently they were incorrect.
They were incorrect, and IGN's a pretty solid place for sources, right? Yeah. As opposed to this next one, which I don't know why we ever report from stuff from them.
Yeah. Mark Hamill has not been cast as Vesemir in season 2 of The Witcher. Actor Kim Bodnia, The Bridge, has. I don't know who that is. But this was originally reported by We Got This Covered, but apparently they do not.
Yeah, no, he does not. We Got This Covered is... They have a lot of sensational headlines. They're one of those things that, like, their track record is not the greatest. I usually, when I see stories from them, unless it's something major, I usually don't report on it or add it in the news because they got a habit of, like, just, like I said, sensational headlines. Boom,
right.
Here's this.
All right, and lastly, Taika Waititi will not direct a new live-action Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but an animated version instead. And this is originally reported by THR.
Yeah, which another one. THR is another major one that's usually trustworthy. And like I said, all this information comes from a lot of sources. Yeah, it is close. He is directing one. It's animated for Netflix, but just
another thing we didn't need, but might be cool because it's Taika Waititi.
Because Taika Waititi, yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, I'll check that out. All right, but yeah, those are our main stories, guys. And now on to our smaller stories, our Nerd Nuggets. I still haven't got the Nerd Nugget graphic up yet.
Yeah, good.
Let's wait till we can start on time, and then we'll build up on that. First story on the Nerd Nuggets is an exciting one and also a scary one because they announced that The Last of Us is getting a live-action series on HBO from the Chernobyl creator Craig Mazin, who Chernobyl was an awesome series. But again, and it kind of like, I don't know, I don't want them to screw up The Last of Us because this is probably it's right up there with Mass Effect. It's one of the best video game storylines ever. And just amazing. In fact, it's the only video game that actually, kind of got choked out. I didn't cry, but I got a little choked up.
You cried.
I didn't cry. But I got a little choked up playing it. So it's one of those, like I said, right up there. I don't know if I put it above Mass Effect, but it's right up there as far as best video game storylines of all time.
Right. Okay.
So we'll see what happens here. A post-apocalyptic kind of, monster kind of, I don't know. It's good. And doing it for HBO is the right place for it because it needs to be, mature audience. That or Netflix, I guess.
All right. Valiant Comics Bloodshot opens in 1 week and is looking at an estimated 20 million domestic opening. Budget unknown, but Vin Diesel tends to draw big overseas, and I'm super pumped for this.
Yeah.
It's definitely, they're going more of the modern take on him, the relaunched Valiant take on him, because he looks... It's cool. I
wanted him as long as he looked like Bloodshot.
Yeah.
And some of the images, the first trailer I was kind of like, ooh, I don't know. But then towards the end, you get that shot of him kind of gray with like the red.
Well, and I love the story they're going with. Is probably the best part about it is how they use him, and he eventually. Honestly, it's been a while since I think it's he eventually figures out they're duping him.
Right, yeah.
But, it looks so cool.
It does look good. It's not a big budget film, but the effects we saw in the trailers were pretty decent. And it's more of an action. There's not a whole lot of, other than regeneration effects.
Yeah.
But it looks like it's good. And it's good. If this does well, hopefully this is the start of a Valiant Universe series of movies.
Yeah.
Because they've got some good stuff.
Yeah, I hope they keep the toned down version. They've got a lot of on the ground characters that they can. Well,
the next most marketable one is probably the most. Exo Manowar is probably the next most marketable, but
he's like, if Iron Man were as powerful as Superman, is the only way you can describe Exo Manowar.
And is he still a Viking in the reboot?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's Auric of the Visigoths or something like that. So it doesn't.
So you got this ancient
really
Viking
out there
in in basically Iron Man armor, souped up Iron Man armor.
Like I said, it's not just Iron Man armor. It's if Iron Man were as powerful as Superman.
Right.
And it's hard for him to interact because I mean, here's why I don't think it translates to the movies. It is very much a character-driven, man at a time story.
Yeah.
That the aliens and the suit just are window dressing for how he thinks about things. So it's really, I don't think he belongs in a movie universe. I want to see
my favorite parts about X-O Manowar was not the big battle scenes and stuff like that, but was the character story of it. My favorite, I mean, you like Eternal Warrior.
Eternal Warrior is great. I think he'd be good for a movie universe. Mm-hmm. I think Archer and Armstrong would be awesome.
His brother Armstrong.
Yeah. I think Ninjak would be cool. He's like Batman meets.
He's probably the next most marketable one.
Yeah, and probably.
Yeah.
Although I think Archer and Armstrong have a pretty big following.
Yeah.
I
would be there opening day with Archer and Armstrong.
Problem is they're more of a series versus a movie.
Yeah.
They don't have like big set pieces.
Netflix, pay attention to this movie. If it does well.
Yeah. If we get,
you got a whole bunch of.
If you want to match Disney Plus at their own game, grab the Valiant universe and go with that.
Yeah. Lots of awesome stories.
The only other thing I could think of is go with Astro City.
Oh yeah.
If you can grab Astro City.
Astro City is more like a parody of all the not a parody, but
it was like a relaunching of the like a Silver Age comic.
Yeah, it's got Batman, Superman version of those characters,
and the Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
and it's just like if Jack Kirby wrote all Silver Age comics and they all existed together in one city. Yeah, that's Astro City.
Yeah, it's like the Boys who have a version of all that of the DC universe. If you took that, the darkness of that, but then toned down all the gory, over-the-top, perverted stuff that Mark Millar brings to it, and just have a really good story, you got Astro City.
Yep.
But
yeah, so
anyway,
I'm super excited about Bloodshot. There's definitely a lot of Valiant stuff that can be good movies, and there's definitely
reviewing this.
Oh yeah.
All right.
I'm in.
There we go.
Yeah, that might not be a podcast next week because we'll be at the movies.
We'll be at the movies. Check out Bloodshot.
Maybe. We'll see how that goes.
All right. Next minor story, we have ratings for a couple movies that are coming out. First off, The Quiet Place 2, which looks awesome. Quiet Place 1 was amazing. Mm-hmm. I wasn't really sure. Here's one of those movies that's so good that, and it ends such a great spot that you're like, okay, they really don't need a sequel to
Luckily, they didn't. They're not trying to copy it.
Yeah.
It's totally different.
Yeah, they're like going...
Oh, there's other people.
Yeah. I mean, it's still following, the survivors, but they're going...
They're interacting with other people. They're talking. They're not trying to do the whole...
Right. But it's rated PG-13, which... The first one was PG-13, and it wasn't gory. It was scary, right? It was suspenseful. It was very suspenseful. Yeah.
Not some jump scares, but no, like, it wasn't blood and guts and gory and whatever.
But yeah, PG-13. And New Mutants also gets a PG-13 rating for, and this one's listed for violent content and disturbing/bloody images. So we'll see what, definitely going to the dark, kind of horror type theme to that. Sure, yeah. And if New Mutants goes over well, like I said, there's a chance, hey, Marvel could make it canon. So we'll see.
It's got a good cast. So
What do you look at that trailer, and we actually saw the full-on mutant powers, and you're like, wow, that's magic, and that's Wolfsbane, and that's Cannonball. You're like, okay.
Did they show her transforming into Wolfsbane?
They start to. The eyes.
Okay. Yeah. That must have been super
eyes
quick.
and the claws. It was quick, but yeah. But yeah, they're going to save that one for the movie. But you got to see magic full-on transform with
her arm, sword
thing.
Yeah, all right, cool.
Yes. Awesome. And I hope
she's kind of like, meh. I don't, like, they got the kind of quasi-evil vibe for her.
Yeah.
And she's like, whatever.
I don't know. I was kind of hoping this movie would come out, do well, be part of it, and have her part of WandaVision, or if they're going to do like the, the House of M kind of...
Oh, yeah.
Kind of quasi-story. I don't know. She could play into it. She could play into, Multiverse of Madness. Yeah. So we'll see.
All right. Here we go. Some more Star Wars, because we're not sick of that yet. Star Wars Rise of Skywalker novelization. Well, it actually releases on the 12th.
Yeah.
But people got early copies from the Chicago Entertainment and Comic. I forget what it's called.
Right.
It's some.
And there's some digital copies that it managed to get out there.
Yeah. So basically, it's stirring up some more controversy with the Rey and Kylo kiss is not romantic. These are things out of the book.
Right.
That's Palpatine's a clone.
Yeah.
And the big you don't have the big things. Rey doesn't stay on Tatooine. That's fine. Good.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Ben's final words of "I will always be with you." Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. The big one that's got everybody super upset is that Rey's father was a failed Palpatine clone that was just like too weak and couldn't house his essence.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, technically,
Palpatine is her father and grandfather.
And father and grandfather, yeah. I'm like,
And neither, because she's the child of a clone, so.
Right.
She's no more Palpatine's daughter or granddaughter than Boba Fett is Jango Fett's son.
True. Clone version.
Yeah.
It's... Technically, this is canon.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's kind of... With the kiss, the Kylo thing, I want to see how this... They kind of left it open. Because they say it was like a kiss of gratitude, right? Mm-hmm. Kind of make, oh, thank you. But then, she goes... A couple lines, and it says... One of them lines that leaves it kind of open is... I don't want to... She's want to be thankful for all this. One of the lines was thankful that they found each other, right?
Yeah.
Now, that could... So those,
right.
Shipping the whole Kylo Ren thing... There's still hope for you that they threw that line in there, but for the most part, they kind of make it. They basically wrote it so you can go either way, however you feel about the kiss. But yeah, Palpatine the clone is. I didn't know why I didn't put that in there. But yeah, that's a little odd. Of course, Palpatine was a clone because Palpatine blew up in the Death Star.
Right.
You got, there's no way. Everybody that said like, oh, that's his shattered form from surviving. Like, no, he got threw down the shaft, and blew up.
I mean, now, yes, a lot of the Death Star seemed pretty intact.
Yeah, that was another thing. I'm like, wow.
But
I didn't think I watched Return of the Jedi recently because it was Disney Plus, going back and checking all this stuff out. So I watched the original trilogy. And man, that explosion at the end, I don't know how there's anything left of that Death Star.
Now, I mean...
Let alone as much as was intact.
Well, now, you do see, when the explosion happens, you do see multiple, trailers that go further than the main explosion. Like, there's fireball out here, fireball out here. So you could go, those are pieces of debris that have gotten thrown clear of the... disintegration.
That was a big chunk that was intact.
Oh, yeah, it was.
That was a big chunk.
Well, yeah, it had a quarter of the...
They got blown to another moon. I mean...
it had a quarter of the dish or something like that. So
enough to be rounded.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you see in Rogue One how big that is in comparison to a Star Destroyer.
Yeah.
So essentially what was there was the size of 2 Star Destroyers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, it was the outer shell of the Death Star, so, all right.
They had the throne room.
I'm not so upset about that I can't go, all right, yeah, I mean, it was a big explosion. It was also a big station. There were open parts where the explosion could have been channeled out. Mm-hmm. Crust breaks off. Okay, fine. But the idea that his body survived that somehow.
Yeah, no.
Being down in the core.
His essence surviving and putting a clone body, fine. But the body, no.
That has precedence in the extended universe. So.
Yes. So, yeah.
Now, they overdid it. And I like I think the argument a lot of people have thrown out there, I've seen several YouTube videos about that. Well, this doesn't make any sense because if his essence could just transfer from one clone body to another, why can't he just he dies, he just transfers to a new clone body? the point of the final confrontation was that it was much like in the comic books. The spirit of all of those Jedis that were channeled through Rey kept him from going anywhere. In the comics, they actually sent him to hell.
Sent him to hell.
But
So yeah, I mean, a lot of people didn't get this because it wasn't visualized. A lot of people wanted to force Ghost to show up there and help her.
Yeah.
But all that vocalization of all those Jedi's voices were just meaning that they were there, channeling their power through her to do this.
And I think that's a viable reason why he wasn't able to jump to a new clone.
Yeah. People have a problem with the force healing and all this stuff with this movie. My biggest, well, not my biggest problem, but one of the problems that struck me as I was going through and checking and going back through the old everything and watching it again was the dagger that pinpoints the spot where the throne room is. Basically, it had to be made after the crash. And someone carved the dagger from the wreckage.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so someone had to be out in the wreckage to find.
Presumably that guy who died.
Right, but why didn't he just grab the polycron or whatever they're getting out of there? He just like, oh, I'm going to find out where it is, leave it there, and then make a knife that points away to it. And then, I mean,
it was a little overly complicated.
Yeah, I was like, all right, well, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like I said, I didn't have a problem with it like I did Last Jedi, but that kind of problem with it. But there were some issues, and then I'm watching, like I said, Clone Wars now, and realizing, that's so much better. Like the writing is so much better. Clone Wars series, if you haven't watched it yet, I mean, the latest season's out or is started now on Disney Plus.
Yeah, and like other Disney Plus, it's one episode a week.
One episode a week, and this series as a whole makes the prequels better.
Yeah.
Very true. And here's the thing: I've been watching some reactors react to. There's like 3 different ones that are watching Star Wars for the first time, and they're going through like a couple different ones. Like I've never seen Star Wars. Like, young Gen Zers going, oh, I want to check out Star Wars for the first time.
Sure.
So they start watching them in order and stuff like that, and they all like the prequels, right? And I'm kind of watching the reactions here with them, and I realize they're watching it back to back basically. They watched the original trilogy, and then they immediately went to the prequel trilogy, right? And then they went to the new one. The thing is, they didn't have that, 20 years of, baggage and extra stuff and, rose-colored glasses, remembering, how great the series was, right? So, and grant, all of them said that the first one of the prequels is not that great, but they all like Revenge of the Sith. Some of them were saying Revenge of the Sith is their favorite Star Wars movie, which it is a pretty good movie. But they go, 3, 2, 1 is in that order. But I mean, watching it through there, watching them see it for the first time, I'm realizing, okay, yeah, that's their Star Wars, right? There's a lot of people that, that was their first experience with Star Wars.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't hate the prequels as much, especially now after watching Clone Wars and everything. So, just one of those things. Like I went back and give it another shot. I still don't like the first one, but well, you could cut out episode 1. Except for if it didn't have the most awesome lightsaber fight in the entire series at the end of it, Duel of the Fates is probably one of the best lightsaber duels. I don't know.
You know what? I don't think it's not my favorite.
Really? What's your favorite lightsaber fight?
I think it's probably Obi-Wan versus Grievous.
Really?
In episode 3.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I like.
Not Obi-Wan Anakin. Obi-Wan Grievous.
Obi-Wan Grievous.
Because there were 2 awesome fights in episode 3.
Just because of how it informs his character, especially after you watch the Clone Wars.
Yes.
And you see all their interactions before that.
Yep.
And on, freaking Clone Wars is old. If you haven't seen it, sorry that you're getting spoilers here. The fact that they encounter each other a good half dozen times in the cartoon. And Obi-Wan just plays with him every time. Every time he's just like, oh, you're beating me. Oh, you're done? And he falls for it every time.
Yes.
It's great.
Obi-Wan is great in Clone Wars and the prequels.
He's the best character in them.
Yeah. He's probably one of my favorite Star Wars characters of all time.
Yeah.
So he just
Given those 2 media, the prequels and the Clone Wars, he's my favorite character.
think so. Yeah.
Even more than Han Solo. Han Solo is a close number 2, but yeah.
I was always a Luke Skywalker fan.
Yeah.
But really, I think it's probably because Obi-Wan's got between those two, he's got more airtime.
Yeah, true.
And more character development.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you are on the fence about that, or if you didn't like the prequels when they first came out, give them another shot, another look at them, especially after seeing his latest trilogy, and take a look at the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Clone Wars will make you look at those movies differently, and appreciate some of the stuff that's going on there, and give you background into some of the stuff that's going on there.
Yeah, because it falls between episodes 2 and 3 of the movies.
Yep.
And it makes you care a lot more about all of the characters in episode 3.
Right. And it makes Anakin's fall a little more gradual than...
A little more gradual and more tragic.
And more tragic.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Because usually Ahsoka Tano was probably one of the best characters not in a live action version yet.
And we might get her in a live action.
Well, hopefully.
Yeah.
Man.
But she's annoying as all get out for the first season or 2.
Yeah, just like any young Padawan.
Yeah.
But she eventually becomes one of the coolest characters.
Yeah, I guess just like Anakin in the first 2 movies.
Just like Luke Skywalker. They all start off whiny and kind of a pain, and they eventually become super cool. So.
Yeah.
All right, folks. There you have it. That does it for us this week. Wrap up all your nerd news. We'll be back again next week at some point. Well, we might be watching Bloodshot.
Well, actually, we'll probably go see Bloodshot on Thursday.
Yeah. And then we'll be here live Friday at 6. Tell all your friends. And for those of you, if you're listening to us on any of the podcasts, where you get your podcast from, or Stitcher and iTunes, the only 2 places we actually send it to right now. Yeah. If you want to see our lovely faces, you can check us out at YouTube/The Grizzled Geek, where you can check out all our stuff. We're going to be moving, eventually in the next month or so, we're going to be moving all our gaming content back over to this main channel, and we'll still have the Grizzled War Master up, but we'll link to
all the videos.
Here. But we're going to start putting them back here, and we're going to have set up a time. Podcasts will be on Fridays. Of course, Ruby reaction stuff's going to be on Tuesdays.
Yeah, and then we'll fill in stuff for the gaming in between those.
In between those guys. All right. Thanks. If you want to support the channel, you can do so mainly by liking, subscribing, and telling your friends about us. Thank you to all our new subscribers, and a thank you to all our patrons out there that are still supporting us after all this time. We really appreciate it. And if you want to join these patrons, we'll have a link down below. Or there's other ways to support us too.
Yeah, we'll have 2 other links in the description. One to our Teespring store where you can check out, I think it's mostly t-shirts at this point. Did you make some magnets or something?
There's a magnet, yeah.
Or something like that?
I gotta re-up the mugs.
Yeah, and then our Amazon affiliate link. If you do your shopping through that link, it'll be just like your normal shopping, no extra charge or anything like that, but we get a small kickback from Amazon, so that'll help us out.
Really appreciate it, guys. And we'll see you again next week. Bye. Realize that mouse is not working.
We're still here.
We're still here.